I feel the fear take hold, reside in darkness, thrive where most won't go. Adrift, I curse this gift and hope you never will. Feel like a psychotic break coming on.
Dude,
that's it, Chris, dude. A psychotic break is coming on, dude.
We are degrading and tripping.
Snapping 2x4s, punching holes in drywall. I feel a psychotic break coming on.
Might have one case tonight.
Chalking up my dead friends and loved ones long gone.
Dude, I got a caterpillar heavy, body dude. And a butterfly brain.
Dude, that's just a taste, man. That was the opening lyrics to Psychotic Break, Degradation Trip Volume 1. And this episode's about to get heavy, dude.
Yeah.
I can already tell. This album, it was so big, the double release, the double album, Volume 1 and 2, we had to break it up into 2 episodes, and we're back for part 2. And we're very excited because we have been in this degrading and tripping zone for feels like forever these days. And we're doing great. So my name is Ethan Chalaway. I'm joined by Chris Salona. This is the Grunge Bible Podcast. Welcome to all the new listeners. Welcome to all the old OG listeners. Thank you. You're our favorite. Just kidding. The new ones are our favorite. We don't have favorites. The next ones
are our favorites. We have favorites.
Yeah, we have favorites. Like our beautiful top level Patreon supporters.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? Let's thank them. Let's just let's
get right into it. We got Basset Hounds to thank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is episode number 259. Next week will be the 5-year anniversary, and we've got some big things coming for that. But we want to thank everybody that's allowed us to get to this point, namely our favorite listeners, the people that do give us money over on Patreon. You can give $2, $5, or $10, or you can give at a level that you are comfortable with, either going above the top tier or even below the bottom tier. We will take anything and everything that you want to throw our way, but we do want to thank the top tier supporters over on Patreon. As you said, we do have a Basset Hound to thank. We have Abraham, who is the cutest Basset Hound ever. He's been teamed up with Frank, his little brother, for a while. And we have the Cracker Man as well.
Our favorites.
Yeah, our favorites. Our other favorites, not as favorite as Abraham, Frank, and the Cracker Man, but still quite favorite. We would like to thank Doug Endy, Jamie Lynn, Carly, and Salona. What the fuck is up, Denny's, Nikki Six, Black Hole Sean, Seattle 4 Fanboy from New Jersey, Sherry Matthews, Eddie Vedder got me through my second divorce, Gochu John, Russell, King Buzzo stole my hair, the Michael Dooley Project, A Bit Dusty, Ultra Mega OK, Heidi and Chains, Chris Buckley, and Looking California, Feeling Minnesota.
Amen. Thank you to our wonderful league of patrons. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. And, we're happy to do it for you,
Yeah.
And so
we're doing this for us, but we're doing it for them too.
Right. So it switches. It always it moves and moves.
Ethan, I got to say, right before we do our customary check-in here, this is the most excited I've been in a while to talk about a particular record. And
I'll tell you what, I'm getting fired up.
I'm getting fired up. I was coming home
from
I've been up since like 4:30 today, and I've pretty much been driving, working, lifting, or eating since about 5 a.m. It's 9:07 p.m. right now, and I got out of the gym at like 6:30, and I threw Degradation Trip on, and I was bouncing around, and I put Spider Bite on, and like I was alone in the car, like headbanging. That's how excited I am to talk about this music.
Yeah, and I received a flurry of text talking about the importance of the song Spider Bite, and we had discussed it a little bit last week, but I also got in my car, drove home alone, and turned the volume way up to just see how heavy we could get, and we in fact got extremely heavy.
Yeah,
it was just incredible, and we'll talk about Jerry's tone and the band and everybody in a little bit, but it's quite exciting. So, but as we like to do, if you're a new listener, we like to always start at the episode with a mental health check-in and just a check-in in general, not sometimes physical health. So, Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's been a whirlwind of the last couple days. I'm getting on a plane in a few days. We're recording this on March 3rd, so this is preempting the episode by the episode release by about a week. Getting ready to head to Ohio for the Arnold. I had my last day of substance in the gym this evening. Hit my snatch opener and my last clean and jerk warm up, and everything's feeling pretty good, but rolling right along. I'm feeling dialed, and I have a feeling that when it comes time, I'm in that back room getting ready to warm up, I might be listening to some Jerry Cantrell.
I can almost guarantee that it's going to be on the playlist.
Oh yeah,
It
it's
has
gonna
to be,
be.
dude.
Yeah, it's always the question. Like you don't want to get the energy too high too early. And this record is conducive to high energy all the time. So we'll see. You never know the path that it's going to lead you down, but I think it's going to be a good path. And
I mean, this is kind of like when Jerry locked himself in the cabin
yeah,
to
and the
write these
Cascade
songs.
Mountains to record it.
This is you the last couple months. You've been locked in the house and just lifting and training, and now you're coming out with your double album, which is the Snatch and the Clean and Jerk, dude.
That's it.
Volume one
my
and
previous
two is-
label just wanted one. I had to give him two. And speaking of which, if this is perhaps the first time you've listened to us, I do highly suggest that you go back and listen to our previous episode number 258. Go ahead and listen to that one first. We discussed the entire background and the state of affairs in Jerryland and in Alice in Chains land that led to the Degradation Trip project. But this is the meat and potatoes this week, Ethan. We're going to be getting into the songs. But before we do that, a couple things we got to do. First and foremost, I need to check in with you and see how you're doing.
Thank you, brother. I'm doing really well. Just tired and just busy, and all good things. I think the weather's really going to break. We'll have a psychotic break in the weather next week.
I feel it coming
cold.
on.
Yeah, it was cold and a little rainy the last 2 days. I think we'll have some more of the same the rest of the week, but next week it's looking bright. So
Yeah.
It's gonna brighten up, if you will. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, I'm doing all right. Just trudging along. Sometimes it feels like the updates aren't so, beautiful, but sometimes that's life. So
Yeah, the in-betweens, as we like to talk about here.
oh yeah, no man, I'm doing really good. I'm excited to talk about this album as well, and I've had a fun time listening to it, and it's heavy, dude. It comes when I listen to stuff like this, like when we throw on Soundgarden, like I like the heavy stuff, obviously.
I do too, yeah.
Like unsuspectingly or very much like, we look the part too, like in everyday society. But I like the heavy. I love getting it.
100%, dude. And like I feel like there's a little bit of an element similarly to what we spoke about with Scott Weiland's solo record 12 Bar Blues, in the sense that the stuff that Scott did with STP gets the lion's share of the attention, and I do think it exists to a lesser extent with Jerry. I think people pay his solo catalog its due, but not as much as they should. And that's something that I discovered even with my own listening habits. Yeah. I mean, the amount of times that I resort to, the self-titled Alice in Chains record or Facelift or what have you, or Unplugged, like there's times maybe in the past where I've been listening to that stuff and I should have been listening to this stuff. And this is definitely going to stick around for a while. And I'm glad it's here in our lives at this time. And it's just, dude, it's so heavy. It's so great. I can't wait to talk about these songs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all good stuff. So one more thing before we move on, I guess we have This Day in Music. I believe we have some things for March 9th. March 9th.
3-9.
Where is it? I'm scrolling around here. Right at the top, where it usually is.
Right at the top. Surprise.
So we'll kind of go through this in a normal manner. I'll just say fast.
Not this time. Ethan, lead us off here, will you?
All right. So March 9th, 1987, U2 releases their album, The Joshua Tree. And obviously, I think last week we talked about it winning some awards.
Yeah, it won 2 Grammys back on March the 2nd of 88. So just about a year after it was out. But this is the release day. So this is pretty good timing here. We get to mention this record again. Once again, I screwed the pooch. I forgot to put it up on the wall behind me, as I forgot to last
2
week.
weeks in a row.
Dude, I love this. I love this album. I've been listening to Red Hill Mining Town a lot lately.
Nice.
That's found its way onto. I'm starting to build my spring playlist, and that has a spot on it. Right next to Spider Bite by Jerry Cantrell. So
not to be confused with Apple Bite, which is also
exactly. Yeah, that's never far from our minds. The Soundgarden song Apple Bite. Moving forward, on this day in 1990, Mother Love Bone played what would end up becoming their final show. This occurred at the Central over in Seattle, and it was the final show as a mere 10 days after this show, Andrew Wood overdosed on heroin and would pass away in an area hospital. So that topic is coming up soon on the page. We'll be commemorating the life and work of Andrew Wood as we always do around the time of his birthday and the day that he passed away. But, once again, the what ifs ring very loudly with Mother Love Bone and Andrew Wood.
And yeah, that's it's been a long time, dude. Was that 36 years?
Yeah, crazy.
36 years. Rest in peace, Andrew Wood. Another loss in 1997. The notorious B.I.G. was shot and killed. Biggie in L.A. at age 24, and again, crazy that he was only 24 years old.
That's the thing that always gets me with this stuff. And I think the older I get, and now that I'm a decent amount older than 24, like once you pass these ages that these guys passed away at, like it makes you realize just like how little time it was. And I certainly feel that way having passed the age of 27 with all the great musicians that we lost who were 27 when they died. And, Biggie being 24, Andrew Wood not being particularly old either. Even Lane, I believe, was 33 or 34 when he passed away. Such a small period of time on earth and so much left undone and unsaid. And it's tragic. Art, there's so much tragedy everywhere you look when it comes to art.
Yeah. Tupac and Biggie, Tupac was 25 when he died.
Crazy.
It's 24. That is just, it's so young. And those are two careers that get talked about a lot of the what ifs and whatnot because of their impact they had while they were there. So pretty interesting. I just had a conversation today about it, actually. Funny enough. Yeah. Tied into, it was a documentary. We don't need to get into it.
Absolutely. This next event on this day in music history is it's a different type of tragedy. But I believe that we're all aware of the great Dave Matthews Chicago River incident of 2004, and March 9th of 2005 is a significant checkpoint along the lines of this saga, as it was on this day that the tour bus driver, a man by the name of Stephen Wohl, ended up pleading guilty for his role in the events. And just to refresh everybody, or to unfresh everybody, Stephen Wohl was the driver of the Dave Matthews tour bus in Chicago, and he pulled up to the Chicago River and just completely dumped 800 pounds of human waste into the Chicago River. But unbeknownst to him, there was a large group of tourists on a boat navigating the river below, and about 2/3 of the 120 total passengers. So we're looking at about 90 passengers just getting absolutely covered in sewage that could have been from Dave Matthews himself. So the driver initially denied the charges at first, but then when he was confronted with some scintillating surveillance video, he ended up acquiescing to his role. He was the only person on the bus at the time. The band was not present. He ended up pleading guilty to reckless conduct and discharging contaminants to cause water pollution. And Mr. Wohl was sentenced to 150 hours of community service. He was fined $10,000 to be paid to the Friends of the Chicago River organization. 10,000 bones, that's a lot. And additionally, he received 18 months of probation. The Dave Matthews Band also donated $50,000 to the Chicago Park District and $50,000 to the aforementioned Friends of the Chicago River organization. And they also paid the state of Illinois a settlement of $200,000. And lastly, the Dave Matthews Band Corporation agreed from that point forward to very diligently keep a log of when, where, and how their septic tanks were emptied from their bus.
Amen, dude.
We got to do an episode, I think, on
that's like a swindled episode, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like $300,000 that the band paid plus 10 from Stefan.
Yeah, and they fired the bus driver too.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah, they just sent him out. They sent him out with the sewage.
It's crazy that no one was on the bus and he was like, "Crap, I forgot to dump all this waste."
Yeah, like shit. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, it's funny. So many puns in there. So he just he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it right here."
Yeah.
And of course, he would have got away for it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Meddling kids, dude.
Oh my gosh. So that's
Crazy.
Hilarious. I actually had a conversation about that not that long ago either.
Hey, people have conversations about things all the time.
There's a lot of lore out there.
Yes, there certainly is.
All right. And last thing, sad, somber musical fact is in 2007 on March 9th, Boston lead singer Brad Delp passes away by suicide at the age of 55.
Dude, that Boston, man, you can't tell the story. There's so many people out there. I think a lot, our parents included, like they can't tell the story of their time in high school or college or what have you without talking about the music of Boston. I mean, that debut self-titled album is to this day, I think, one of the best debut albums ever. I mean, you got More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay Long Time, Rock and Roll Band, Let Me Take You Home Tonight. I mean, they were unbelievable, and Brad Delp had an unbelievably great voice and certainly one of the touchstones of the time. And we definitely miss him and are grateful for, his work with that band. They were big. As Jerry Cantrell said about Nickelback in 2002, they were a young fucking hot band.
They really were. But yeah, this one honestly, just reading stuff like this, like obviously suicide is always a terrible thing, and it hurts when it's young. But when I hear about like older, like 50s and 60s suicides at like an older age, it breaks my heart. And I mean, we've talked about it a lot, like obviously if we've talked about mental health and different things. So if you're out there, I mean, no matter, it gets harder. I feel like it gets harder it's hard all the time. So, I mean, take the time to check in with your homies. That's why we always check in and never feel like, people are too far away to talk to. Cause I just, there's a lot of stories of older people with families and whatnot. And that just, oh man.
Yeah.
It always hurts. It never gets easier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that's this day in music history for March the 9th. And we've gotten everything out of the way. So we have unlimited runway here. Oh,
one last thing, just because it came up today. And I just wanted to bring it up because, it's very interesting. It's very intriguing. And we've actually seen this man play live, but Wolfgang Van Halen was brought up today in conversation. And Chris, we've seen him. He played at the...
he was at the Taylor Hawkins tribute show, wasn't he?
He played at the Taylor Hawkins tribute show. And have you listened to his band Mammoth? And he had an album. He has 2 albums that came out, but he had an album come out in October or November.
I don't believe I've listened to it.
Okay, you probably have heard some of the songs if you listen to some of the local radio, but
Sure.
MMR's been playing it, and because I was like, I've never listened to his solo stuff, because the question was, is Wolfgang more talented than his father, Eddie?
Sacrilege.
But the funny thing is, Wolfgang is 34, and he began touring with his dad and his uncle in 2006, so he was 16 years old.
Dude, it's
so
crazy.
He's been touring. And when you listen to the album, Wolfgang plays and sings and does everything on the album. So he plays drums, bass, and guitar. And
Are you serious?
And it's actually like really, really impressive. I'm like, I didn't realize that he did it all. And of course, the conversation when it's like, you just can't. I mean, he's like, is he more talented? Maybe, but like, no, he's not, because Van Halen did it. Like, he started the whole, you hear it just sounds like Eddie.
Yeah.
But it was, I suppose rock is alive, and
think about it this way, like, I mean, musically and also biologically, if there's no Eddie, there's no Wolfgang.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think you can, it's just like now, like, is AI's invention smarter than like when electricity was first?
Fuck no.
Were the people smarter then if they made something out of nothing versus just using technology to get smarter? So, yeah, Wolfgang, like, you got to listen to it. It's pretty dang impressive. Like, what all this man can do. He's a hoss too. Like,
he's only athlete.
He's only 34, dude. He's like
crazy.
We're
not that far away from 34.
A lot of Wolfgang, and we don't know what his career is going to look like. Maybe he is better than Eddie.
Who knows, man? He's got
a lot
of
I just wanted to bring that up because Wolfgang needs to be in the news more. Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to hear about him more.
Yeah, buy stock now. Exactly. Because your only regret is going to be that you didn't buy more.
Yep. All right, man. Well, like we said before, we have a whole episode giving the background of the album Degradation Trip. But there was a release of volumes 1 and 2, 25 songs. And as we said before, this was a weird and trying time for Jerry. And he went into the woods, into the cabin, and came out with 25 songs. And it was, released at a later date in 2 different dates. It was, a whole ordeal. And it really... it was a big moment for him. So when we listen to this album fully through, it really is a masterpiece. Like, you know, you hear it's like, oh, he went into the cabin and recorded 25 songs. Like, you know, you're gonna have some duds, or you're gonna have some, you know, you just, what do you like, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of
It's a
songs.
lot.
Like, I mean, I don't know if anybody's out there tried to write songs. Like, it's sometimes like you get writer's block. It's not easy. Like, but these songs, like, there's so many awesome songs. And the crazy part is, you know, obviously Lane's not involved in singing and the vocals, and everything is just at a
Right.
pristine
Sean
level.
Kinney's not involved. Mike Inez isn't involved. Dave Jordan wasn't involved.
Yeah.
This was just Jerry's factory, and it's unreal. And you know, I was talking a little bit earlier about the fact that I haven't listened to Jerry's discography in full and thoroughly, and really until this week with this record, and a couple weeks ago with Boggy Depot. You know, I think his solo stuff, aside from Brighton, that one we really connected with when it was coming out, so we spent a lot of time with the album proper. But these, you know, I was really just cherry picking songs for the last 10-15 years from this stuff,
Right.
and sitting down and listening to it in the way that the artist intended you to listen to it,
taking it in as a whole piece of art.
and especially too, like, you know, when I started doing it, I pretty much just focused on the initial release of the first batch of tracks,
100%.
which was released, you know, a little bit.
It's like the music bank all over again.
Exactly. And then, you know, you take the leap, and it's like, okay, well, you know, if I have to listen to, you know, tracks 13 through 25, like, I might as well just go 1 through 25 and like listen to everything together in as close to the same session as I possibly can. And, you know, when you have all of them aside right next to their peers, it changes the songs and it transforms them in a way that you don't feel when you listen to them standalone, or when you cherry pick songs, or even when you listen to the initial release of the first, the first 12 tracks. And this is, I feel pretty comfortable saying that this is right up there with the best stuff that Jerry's ever done, either inside or outside of Alice in Chains. I think people talk about how revolutionary, and Jerry does too, about how revolutionary Dirt was for Alice in Chains, going from Facelift to Dirt. And, you know, the quote that we referenced a few times about how Boggy Depot was kindergarten compared to Degradation Trip, like, there's a reason why he said that. There's a reason why that's one of the enduring quotes about this, because it was. And this is just an absolute masterpiece. Like, you know, he's under so much personal duress, and, you know, he's laying it on the line, and he comes out the other end better, learns about himself more, gets sober not too far long after the record that was released, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park with these songs. I mean, 25 songs to hit on 20, go 25 for 25 is pretty unbelievable from one period of writing. I still struggle to comprehend that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and, you know, you could argue that some of the songs aren't as good, but, like, you know, when you give each, sometimes when artists release albums, and I mean, just music in general is pretty, you know, subjective in ways. And, you know, I don't want to say it, like, you have the cloud of the band and what is like commercially successful. So it can be hard to listen to smaller stuff that just doesn't get the same success, and like actually give it a shot to be like, all right, now let me actually break down, you know, Spider Bite versus Wood, you know. And like this song, obviously we've heard a ton more, and, you know, I don't know. It's hard to really say like that this isn't his best work, right? I mean, you can obviously say it like with the numbers, but, like, you know, I'd like to hear Jerry to.
Well, there's that thing going on that I think happens a lot of time with art, when somebody's a known quantity to you. Like, we've known Jerry Cantrell for so long, and we know the unbelievable stuff that he did with Alice. When you have a finite amount of time to spend time with art and with music, right? There's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many hours that you can listen to music. And, you know, if you want some Jerry Cantrell, a lot of times I think people take the known quantity and they'll listen to the Facelift record, or they'll put on self-titled, or they'll watch Unplugged or something, know, because they know what they're going to get from it, and it affects them. But, you know, to take the leap, it's one thing to take a leap into an artist or a band that you don't know anything about. I would wager sometimes I think it's tougher to, you know, take a leap into a side project of an artist or a band that you already know a lot about and you already are a fan of, because, you know, you're a fan of that stuff for a reason. You want to spend time with it, but you got to spend time away from that and focus on some of the other stuff that they've done.
Yeah. Point being, you listen to this, you hear Psychotic Break, it comes in, and you start, you start getting into it, and as soon as you're like, man, I want to listen to some Alice in Chains, and you immediately go back to like your favorite out. Like it's like, the first few songs, like once you get into it, you like want to go back to stuff, almost. Like I find myself, yeah, I'm listening to like Scott's 12 Bar Blues, and I'm like, man, I kind of want to go listen to STP right now. I get the whole, I get what I know type of
it
thing. It
completes the circle in a weird way.
Yeah. And like, so you hear songs on here, like, I mean, just, I think I was, honestly, Spider Bite, like we're going to talk about that a lot, right?
Yeah,
but,
we are.
It's so heavy. And I was like thinking, I was like, man, I would love if Lane's vocals was on this. Like what would Lane have done with this? And you immediately start, you do find yourself thinking that a lot. And, but, taking all of that out, this album is really great front to back. It's so much fun to get into. It's heavy. I mean, like it's 2 hours long. It's like, so as heavy. Far as like going on a session and just nailing it, like that's not, it's not going to happen very often, but
right. And like I would say too, similarly to Alice in Chains' discography, I don't think it's something you can afford to do all the time. No. We've had multiple people from different points in our lives and different interactions say something to the effect of be careful how much time you spend with some of this music, because it can really put you in a place that might not be the greatest place to be in. Always saying that about Alice in Chains stuff, and you could easily say that about the Degradation Trip Volumes 1 and 2 collection. And I definitely feel that way.
Degradation Trip, right?
Yeah, dude. It's
this like
title,
especially with the story and where it came from, and like out of like this misery and like dark time. I mean, this is like literally an exorcism of Jerry's like demons.
It was an audit comes out of 20 life,
and he was able to like walk away from it and like put it behind him. And like he says, he's like, I don't spend much time. We don't play him live. It's like I don't really listen to that album very much.
To stare like, into the abyss and to make it through and live to tell the tale, and not only that, come out with something of substance. That's not something many people can do. And I think we are going to attempt the ambitious project of discussing all 25 of these songs. And Ethan, I think we just need to jump right in. Just like Jerry did in the summer of '98, writing these songs, going out of his mind. And one thing that I notice, particularly when Psychotic Break comes in, but then also when you look at the rest of the record and the context of it, these songs are pretty damn long. And the way that even Psychotic Break gets set up, you have about a minute of just riffing and instrumentals before the vocals even come in. And like, I think it does a really good job of setting the tone for what this record's going to be and what Jerry's trying to accomplish on this. And, he quite literally sets the tone. I think Jerry's guitar tone all up and down this record is so distinctive and so biting. It has so much texture. I mean, there's different points where, it feels like a stab, and there's different points where it almost sounds like it's underwater. And it just kind of like rings in your rib cage a little bit in a way that not many guitarists' sound does.
Yeah, it's a great point. And like I said, some of this stuff, like we'll say it, and it just is like an overarching theme for the album. And like, one of the reasons we love Jerry is that, never forget, like our guitar friend Andy's like, he plays guitar to serve the song, and he's good at leaving space. And like, there's a lot of instrumental, like you said, these songs are long, and it goes, there's a long time between lyrics, and there's some songs don't have much lyrics, and it's just like, it's total like atmosphere and just like mood and like, dark vibes. And like that's what he was feeling. That's what he wanted to get across. And like, he does it. It's very artistic. Like, and it's not just like in your face, like blasting, like heavy,
right,
like death heavy. It's like this other type of heavy that is, like you said, sets up from the tone and the guitar work. I mean, super distinct guitar, as we briefly touched on last week. Like Jerry is Jerry because he has the sound that he does.
Yeah.
And beat up, broken Fender, broken headstock, Gibson Les Paul, that is, or whatever.
The Les Paul that he had. Yeah. And I think the first thing, we've had a couple of listens through to this entire project by this point. The first thing you notice, I think, is just how cohesive it is from a sonic standpoint in terms of the tone, the way the songs are constructed. Jerry's, multiple vocal tracks layered over one another, the drumming, the bass, all of that. But something that really on the last listen today, before we recorded this, really stuck to me is like, there's that cohesiveness also in the subject matter of these songs. And, he basically said it was an account from birth until that point in his life. And there's a lot of eerie foreshadowing that goes on all up and down this record. And it starts with Psychotic Break. You have that line, thinking about my dead friends whose voices ring on. And then you go into a song, the second song, Bargain Basement Howard Hughes, which Howard Hughes was a business magnate in the 20th century. He had his fingerprints over so many different businesses. I think he was the president, or he owned Pan Am Airways for a while. He was everything, but he was also unbelievably paranoid and eccentric. And it was given to fits of isolation that were self-imposed. So I think given the space that Jerry was in, that's a perfect illusion to make. But even some of these lyrics in that song, for example, stubborn bastard, hard head knocking, we had our good years too. Though apart, you're still in my heart. I give anything for you. And a lot of these songs kind of feel like follow-ups to some songs that he cut with Alice in Chains that were implicitly or explicitly referencing his friendship with Lane. I think about No Excuses, You My Friend, I Will Defend, and If We Change, I Love You Anyway. I think that sentiment's right here on this one. Though apart, you're still in my heart, I give anything for you. And I have to imagine that Lane was on his mind when he was writing a lot of these songs. And, by this point too, I think he saw a lot of Lane's struggles in his own struggles, because this is a man that was struggling with a lot of different things and substance abuse, and he hadn't achieved his sobriety yet. And that was something that was always over his shoulder. And there's a lot of songs that we're going to talk about here that reference that. And I think it starts, really in this second track here with Bargain Basement Howard Hughes, which once again, the tones there, the riffs, they're crunchy, they're punchy, and they just hit you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't describe it better. Just a great second song, and something that you like you said, the lyrics are all with intent, and like you said, I think he had very specific people and situations on his mind. Like, he's not just writing down stuff. And
dude, I broke your trust and lied, controlling selfish gossip abound, cocaine mouth over mind. And real quick, somebody needs to keep a tally on how many times we say the word cocaine or coke on this record.
Yeah, if you're drinking right now, listen to this podcast, that's your game. You have to drink when we say it.
You drink every time we mention cocaine.
But all of these songs, so getting the third song, Owned, I mean, this is like a pretty, it's a very dark, and like the lyrics are just like, are almost like disgusting at times, right? Like, I'm a whore, can't ignore this, my lot. I mean, it's just like it's just like he's going head on into tough stuff, and like I said, the guitar is always riffing over top. It's heavy, and he's just like, it's just rock and roll.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Heavy, heavy 1,000 times today.
Yeah, trading pleasure for coin. I'm a whore, nothing more, somewhat free. And I think I latched onto a theme here. I think I get my first inclination of it from the song Owned, but then it pops up several more times on this record where, as Jerry said, it's kind of an account from birth until now. And there's just this, like, whether it's present in the songs or you feel it coming on, like, there's just this feeling, I think, that Jerry must have had at the time, that he was looking at his life and the decisions that he made and the choices that he had chosen put him in a place maybe that he wasn't the happiest with. And, he chose to give up parts of his life for the enjoyment of other parts of his life. Yep. And he neglected other things in favor of other things. And, these are the words and music of a guy who might not be the happiest with those choices that he made. And he's grappling with that, and he's trying to reconcile with it. And you have some songs where, that are about that realization, and there's other songs about what you do with that realization. There's other songs about wanting to move forward through that. And I mean, that's Jerry's story. It's so interesting. You have like the past, the present, and a look at the future throughout this record, which is something that's really, really impressive. Yeah,
that's really, really good insight. I'm just looking at the lyrics, and you're right. I mean, you can tell he's just talking about his experiences, and like you said, selling out for
surely the day will come, put down when you can't run anymore.
So used to be beautiful, never a moment dull, and then put down when you can't run. Oh man, This is going to be quite the episode, Chris. I can tell.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is gonna be a good
it's getting
one.
heavy quick.
Yeah, and we called our shot last week where we said, at the end of these conversations, there's always a couple songs that might not have been on our radar that become fast favorites, and I know that that's already happened for me, and we're only a couple of songs in. So by the end of this conversation, I think we're going to come home with some new favorites. But
we're doing our best, and like I said, we're going to try to touch on every song. So have grace, and some of the songs that you may not know very well, because we're all taking the class together here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of it. I mean, there's some songs that we talk about that we've had a lot of time with, and there's other songs that we're kind of at ground zero for that. So,
figuring it out. Exactly.
All a part of the process. And it's only fitting that the next song is one that I think we've both spent a lot of time with. And this is right out of, the Jerry Cantrell formula for songs. The riff for Angel Eyes, even the vocals, like the at the beginning is just like classic Alice in Chains type songwriting, something that he would have written for the band. It's just got a punchy hook. The chorus is so good, and it's just it's so catchy. It's I think to this point it's certainly the catchiest song on the record.
Yeah, this one's a blockbuster hit in my eyes.
Oh, big time. Yeah,
like
put this one up in lights.
Yep, he knew what he was doing with this one. It's just a really good chorus, right? The chorus is like
4
almost,
years and still
almost
I
singable,
dream.
right? It's singable for the mere mortals, and you can kind of like you can nod your head to it. You can picture yourself in the crowd. Like it's an easier listen than some of the other songs on the list. I mean, it's still like it's got all the stuff you love, and Jerry, like you said, the songwriting formula is great.
Yeah.
And then moving on to another style of Jerry song.
Got our first ballad of the evening.
When and there's a few songs that have both, where it's really heavy and then it drops down, and then you have songs like Solitude, the fifth song, where it's primarily a lower octave, a lower sounding tone and whatnot, and he has this like where he rhymes and it's like on the downbeat, and it's just like a really deep low Jerry voice, and this song is fantastic. A really good listen for bringing down the mood, for unwinding at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, big time. And speaking of the lyrics, the ones that always pop out from Solitude for me are, when hurting yourself feels right and there's nothing familiar in sight, take the time to pull the weeds, choking flowers in your life. And that's kind of one of those things where you're sitting there and you've maybe developed these habits that are destructive, but they just feel normal, and I think normalcy breeds the feeling that your choices are correct because it's just what you're used to. You can get used to just about anything, but there's that kind of cautionary tale maybe for other people, and he wants to believe it himself too, where take the time to pull the weeds, choking flowers in your life, because if you're not careful with your garden, to use that analogy, it can be taken over by some things that are pretty destructive, and that, as Jerry puts so articulately on this record, that does come at the expense of the positive and bright things that are in your life. And it's so apparent with this song here.
Yeah. Oh man, you're on fire, Chris. I think you took the lyrics. You took this is like studying the grunge Bible.
Exactly.
Studying the Bible, studying the lyrics that were given to us.
A reading great. From the book of Cantrell.
Yeah, dude.
And
exactly.
The next reading is going to come from the chapter called "Mother's Spinning in Her Grave," parenthetically Glass Dick Jones, which is unbelievable. And I imagine Glass Dick is a reference to a drug pipe, and the Jones, the jonesing when you're jonesing for something. I believe that's the read on that one. You got the hankering for the drugs and perhaps the cocaine, which would be the second drink out there if you're playing our game here. But yeah, this one is just, I think this is when it starts to get really, really dark. I mean, as if like Psychotic Break's not dark enough, but talking mother spinning in her grave because she can't save, where it's like, not only are you letting yourself down and you're fucking your life up, but like you feel this guilt that the people that loved you are disappointed in the choices that you've made, and there's nothing that they can do to save you, and you're inflicting duress onto them, perhaps even from beyond the grave. I mean, that's about as dark as you can get.
Right. And sonically, this song is like, it has like this scattered brain type of,
Yeah.
sound. Like it sounds like an addict, right? It sounds like something that's like, it's like schizophrenic and like going around. The guitar is like bouncing up and down. And,
Yeah.
he just, it fits the
Mother's spinning
subject
in her
matter.
grave because she can't save because you couldn't leave it alone. Once again, that kind of self-audit of your behavior, where like you're just not able to leave those destructive things alone.
Oh man, we're getting into it.
Yeah, man. Track 7, Hellbound, and immediately this one, once again, I think we're starting with like some pretty jarring sounds. I mean, you just kind of hear that like nails off a chalkboard type thing that's going on here before the song kicks in. And this is our first song on the record that is over 6 minutes long, checking in at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. So I think a recurring theme on this one is instrumentally Jerry's ready and willing to stretch his legs. And, we definitely hear it on this one. There's some pretty long and drawn out instrumental parts layered in with the different vocals and the verses and the chorus and whatnot.
Yeah, man, there's like one song under 4 minutes on this album, or two. And every song, and I can see why maybe the record label in Columbia was like, I don't know.
Columbia was like, hell no.
They're like, yeah, Jerry, like we love you, but like we can't do this one. And he wasn't kidding when he said Roadrunner had the balls and the guts to allow him to release.
He said there's a lot of milquetoast bullshit out there, but Roadrunner, they were real.
Yeah, even if you can't get into the diving deep into the lyrics, you just look at the song titles. You got Hellbound, Profacital, Feel the Void, Owned, and Psychotic Break, and Chemical Tribe,
Glass Dick Jones,
Dying Inside, Hurt, Stone It, like just like, I don't know, man. He like I said, his mind, it's like he was able to corral all of these thoughts and put it into pieces of art. And like I think that's had to be therapeutic for him, as we talked about last week, a cathartic experience, and I hope it was for him. And from what we can tell, it definitely served its purpose.
Hope so. Yeah. And all throughout this, I mean, you have some really, really great writing, but then you just have like these like token adages, which you get one in Hellbound. It's repeated a few times. The truth is, to some degree, we all steal. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got a little bit of darkness within them, which I think, humanizes him and his story, because he kind of reflects it back to you, where it's like, hey, everybody's got something. And, certainly I think when it comes to anything that somebody's struggling with, it's not our place to judge. I think it's our place to understand and to empathize. And I think there's a lesson in here when somebody lays their soul bare like this. It's not about what they've done. It's about, how they feel about it and what they want to do about it. So,
yeah. All right, now to the coup de grace here in Spider Bite, the 8th song. And like you said, you were enamored by it and sent it over, and I took a listen, and the first thing that stood out is this, here we go again, tone, mark it on your, this guitar tone by Jerry, this bass, this is like, but this is
Robert Trujillo.
This is a different type of metal that they're bringing to the table. And, in some spheres and some sectors, I mean, this is highly sought after stuff right here. Like this is the nuts and bolts of heavy metal. And like, it is, like I said, it is just an absolute, it's like a masterclass on how to, I don't know, produce something like is deep. It's like a deep sound in the guitar, and it is so good. And like I said, this is a 6.5 minute song, and it even breaks loose a little bit and cuts out, and you get some breathing room, and then they go back in. It has a slow chorus or pre-chorus or whatever it is, where it's like the drums are just like banging in the back. I mean,
that was the highlight of this song for me. Like I was headbanging for a while,
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And like, the riff comes back, but slower. And like, you can't help but put a smile on your face when you hear something like this. Cause you don't know where it's going to go when the music stops around like 3.5 minutes in. And you're like, if you're not careful, if you don't know the song, you might think it's over. It's like, what's going to happen? Are we going to the next track? And then an acoustic guitar comes in for a hot second. Spun Monkeys on the Railroad track, take me to the cane field. I walk along, pick my spider bite. And then it opens up again to this really, really cool, slower tempo kind of halftime thing where I think this is some of Jerry's best vocals on this record, where he's singing, "My old man wonders where I'm at. I'm still a child. I guess I keep trying to pay him back." There's a recurring theme here of, I think, his childhood trauma with his family life at home, and that's an allusion to that. But interesting too, like his guitar tone, it's oftentimes more biting than this. This is almost a little sludgy, and like you don't often get sludge like this from Jerry Cantrell. And that's something I really, really love about it. And you have that weird interlude where the tempo goes down, and then the last like minute or two of the song just brings you right back and gets your head banging again.
Yeah, man. This is an absolute heater. As like you said, 6.5 minute song. So like you put it on for, a drive to the gym, it might get you all the way there. Like, This is a one-stop shop, and it's just extremely well done. Like this one, it's a diamond in the rough, right? Yeah. I mean, this song like was not on our radar before this, but like we're not joking when we say that. Like, I mean, I think it's really, really. It could be, like you said, if you throw Lane on this, if like,
dude,
if
crazy.
he was like, it could have been Man in the Box,
Yeah, and there's
Man in the Box is sick.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so sick.
Hell yeah, dude. Guitar solo. Yeah, exactly.
Get the talk solo, box going, man. A little tribute to Frampton. The next thing I'm about to say is not founded in any research that I discovered, but I believe that Nickelback was pretty heavily influenced by Alice in Chains and Jerry Cantrell, and I can't help but make the connection between the guitar tone on this song and the guitar tone on a Nickelback song called "Side of a Bullet."
Dude,
it's like 1-to-1 comparison.
Nickelback is pretty heavy at times.
Dude, they're really heavy. Like,
what did Jerry say?
They're a young fucking hot band.
Exactly.
He's not wrong, dude. Like there's some heavy stuff on some Nickelback records, and I would have to imagine they were maybe reading from similar playbooks on this stuff, and were certainly inspired by a lot of stuff. I mean, shit, there's videos of Nickelback from the early to mid 90s when they were like a bar band, and they're covering Alice in Chains, and they're covering Even Flow by Pearl Jam and shit. So
who's the guitarist? Tremonti, right? John Tremonti?
That's the Creed guy.
Oh shit.
I couldn't possibly tell you who Nickelback's guitarist is.
Oh shit! Yeah, Tremonti's Creed. Get a quick fact checked here.
Yeah, dude. Well, and of course, as we did learn, the Tremonti and the Creed guys, when you spend 2 months together, you generally find some time to fucking say hello, and they didn't say hello to Jerry on their tour in 2002 and 2003. So we're Team Nickelback for now.
Ryan Peake and obviously Chad, but
of course. But yeah, dude. Spider Bite, I think I was a little excited in the moment, but I did send a text message to you earlier today that I declared this as the best Jerry Cantrell song.
Yeah.
It might be. I mean,
there's a strong argument for it. Like
it's got everything
if you're coming
want.
If you're coming with another song, you got to be ready to battle. Which,
oh yeah,
like I said, every one of these songs has something, and that takes us into Pro False Idol, the 9th song.
Yep.
And we'll probably come back to Spider Bite, but
yeah.
This song, similar, like just like also again, just
sonically, it's like the extension of Spider Bite, which makes sense that it follows it on the record.
But like halfway through, it has this like, man, I wish I knew the musical terms, but like, has this guitar solo that's like in a really high octave, and it's like ringing out, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know how to describe it. It's like 3 minutes, but it's just a beautiful guitar lick, rhythmic lick that Jerry throws in there that breaks up the heaviness and the sludge, and
yeah.
I love when I love when he does that. He just kind of like,
yeah, he's like playing.
Hold on, let me get in here
a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, let me get in here and totally change the pace, and then you go right back into
letting those notes breathe a little bit on this
right.
on this guitar solo about 3.5 minutes in. This is the first song on the record that's over 7 minutes long too, so really stretching the legs. And once again, this theme comes back, which you're gonna see. We've seen already, and we're gonna see it again. The first lyrics: gave it all away, blood or song, and there's nothing left. Used to be someone, never really die. Live in magazines and on the radio has been demigod. So once again, you know, he made a wager and he exchanged some parts of his life for the fame and the rock star life. And, you know, this is the music and the words of a man who might be having some regrets about that. And, you know, we're going to get to it as the last track, but I hear so much of the theme of 3132 all throughout this record, just talking about, you know, your hopes and your desires, what you had before you made these choices and the impact of those choices. And Pro False Idols, you know, right in the wheelhouse for that subject matter.
Yeah, and it's crazy, like breaking down like his lyrics. Like he has a way of writing lyrics where he just says like a string of, he just like says it. You know, it's like infrequent sex, lie down with whores, sleep the day away, freak boy, roll on. You know, and like
not to be confused with Fat Boy of Silverchair Tomorrow.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, man. But once again, that's a great track. And, you know,
we kind of pro false idol.
Yeah, dude. And like we have Spider Bite and Pro False Idol, which are like pretty heavy. And then, you know, you think you're getting into a groove and then Feel the Void, the 10th track comes on. And, you know, it's so low and soft at the beginning that you kind of want to double check that like the record is still playing. You know, for the first 30-40 seconds you don't hear much, and you don't even really hear much, certainly in terms of vocals or anything, for really the first 2 minutes of the song, and then things kick in and it's heavy, but it's kind of like that slow doomer heaviness that I would almost associate more with a band like the Melvins, which is cool because it's juxtaposed with that heavy hard driving headbang that we just got. Yeah, dude. And then you get something like this, and
super doomy.
Yeah, it's just really doomy. And once again, you know, there's a lot of these lyrics. I can't feel my life, makes me want to cry, how bad I feel inside, like I want to die. I mean, it doesn't get more blatant than that. I mean, this is a man who chose to, you know, isolate himself for 4 months and rarely bathe and send out for food and possibly do a lot of coke. Try to get as feral as possible, right? Yeah, people use the word feral quite a bit, and this is a good use of the word.
Feral's been big the last couple of years.
Yeah, feral has been really big.
Yeah, shit. So moving in, you know, we're coming towards the end of the the first release. That they released 12 songs on the initial release. That is so.
Yeah.
This is song 10. We have 2 more. We have Locked On for the 11th song.
Classic rock song right here, starting with this riff.
Yeah, it's got that like echoey like guitar. Yeah. And
big time.
And then he drops it out, and he's got like the. I should know this, how he has like that echoey vocal track that kind of Jerry is known for. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of it is he's layering his vocal tracks. There's a couple of different vocals on here,
a couple different Jerrys singing.
Yeah, multiple shades of Cantrell, if you will.
40 shades of Jerry.
Yeah, exactly, dude. 25 shades of Jer Bear on
That's
this record.
exactly right.
And I think this is one of the most important songs for this project.
It's like, which should I pick, beige or eggshell?
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe
do I want mauve?
Or maybe bone.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is the most pivotal song on the record in terms of the subject matter, because we've done an audit so far. He's talking about his life, he's talking about his choices where he fucked up, but there's some lyrics in here that I want to talk about. Jerry writes and sings, "Every song I wrote, I meant what I said at the time. Yeah, I spent some time looking death right in the eye. Every song I wrote, I captured a fragment of time. Dying a little bit makes you appreciate life." I think this is where the choice is made, that despite every bad choice you've made and everything that's gone wrong, you make the choice to move forward, and you're developing that appreciation. And you've stared the abyss a little bit too close for comfort, perhaps. And as he said, dying a little bit makes you appreciate life. And it's interesting too, because this is coming from a man at the time who, in a lot of different ways, was actively still dying a little bit. But the fact that this appears here, I think it's so important for setting the tone as to where Jerry would go, even personally, and certainly professionally too, with his band. And we lost Lane right before this record came out, but the Alice in Chains was reborn with William Duvall, and Jerry Cantrell's gone on to an unbelievable career the last 23 years. I think this is a really pivotal track for that reason.
Yeah, that string of lyrics, man. Every song I wrote, I meant what I said at the time. That is, I don't. There's nobody I would believe more than Jerry saying this, and
Yeah.
like, there's people that everybody wants to be authentic and real, and I think Jerry has proven time and time again that, like, I mean, he definitely wears it on his sleeve, like
Oh yeah.
all of it. He wears it in scars, he wears it
Yeah.
in scabs, and he wears it in, you know, everything.
And like, you make the choice too to not let your past fuck ups continue to torment you into the future, and maybe to not let the opinions of other people continue to bother you. In some of the last lyrics of this song, you don't know, well, that's all right. You do your thing, I'll live my life. Where it's like, you couldn't possibly know what I've been through, and that's okay. Keep doing what you need to do, and like, I'm gonna do what I have to do. Once again referencing that lovely quote of Jerry's, I'm gonna do what I have to do. And I think that's Jerry for you. This is a man who does what he has to do, and he moves the way that he needs to move.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's when you're fighting for your life at times, I think, like, that comes up a lot. You have to do what you
it
have to do.
simplifies a lot of things. You're just fighting for survival. Certain things on the periphery that might not be as important, at that time, certainly aren't important when you got to focus on just vitality and living and moving forward. So that's the 11th track, and the next song is the final song on the initial release of Degradation Trip. One of my favorites from this entire project, and it's Gone. The song is gone, and I suppose the first record's gone at this point. Country is hell. Jerry's an Oklahoma boy, as we mentioned. There was a lot of country influences, I think, on Boggy Depot, as we spoke about a few weeks ago. And this is really the first song, I think, where you hear a lot of that. I mean, you got that dobro playing, a little steel guitar action going on, and this is this is the artistic manifestation of the cigarette at at the end of a long day. Yeah, dude, just taking a drag, man. And
exactly what I was gonna say. I need a cigarette after the first 12 songs before we get into the next one. That's what Gone is. Like, it's a reprise that, you're just talking about it, you're getting amped up about every song, and then, if you put this on, you kind of like get to sit back and relax. And
God knows I've tried. I'm died in pain. Strong yet simple drive, the freedom to say. And the guitar work on this one's really great. He's letting these notes linger for a while, which is cool, because so much of the first 10 songs have just been so hard driving. It's nice to breathe a little bit and fade away into the night.
Yeah. It is. This is a beautiful song, and like, as much as Jerry can rock and be heavy and be sludgy and all the adjectives that we give, like when he drops it down and plays plays a solo over a ride cymbal, right, over nothing, over just like an acoustic, it's some of the best guitar work you're gonna find.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the first installment. That's volume 1 of Degradation Trip. Quick status report, Ethan. How are we feeling?
Gee, I'm feeling amped up. Like I said, sometimes when we do these, we have them, playing in the background, and like, it's like pre-workout. I was getting amped up. I mean, it's like, we're clocking in at like 10 o'clock here, and like,
just past 10 o'clock.
It's a lot, man. How about you?
Yeah, it is. I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're almost an hour into this episode, so this is gonna be a mouthful, just like the entire volumes 1 and 2 of Degradation Trip. And what do you say we get rolling on volume 2 here? We've got a nautical illusion here. This man is shipwrecked. He's a castaway. Daybreak, wind blowing strong, no escape, caught on a reef in the storm. And island stage plays to his thoughts and ego. And he's kind of, we get a little Jerry scream going on here when he sings "Hoping the Rats Reach the Shore." And there's that, you don't get that type of dynamic vocal delivery from Jerry all the time. I think a lot of his delivery is a little bit more textured than that. So it's cool to kind of, you kind of get woken up by that a little bit on this song.
Yeah, dude. Again, yeah, he comes in, has this drive, like a slow drive through the whole thing. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's like you said, the Melvins, once you said the Melvins, like you hear it more and more. And, we definitely took a lot of time for when we talked about the Melvins and we talked about, maybe the Butthole Surfers, and like, we've been kind of caught on this fact that people influence each other so much in like it's like almost not right in your face. It's kind of in the minutia.
Yeah.
And then it pops up in solo projects and songs like this where you just hear other bands and you hear stuff and you think like Jerry's doing himself. He's doing it a little differently, and this one's just so it's a little bit different than the rest on the album, and it's great.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting from like a subject matter perspective. I feel like Volume 1 was its own audit of Birth to Now, and then he just starts over and like restarts the audit.
Yeah.
Like you have a little bit of redemption on the back half of Volume 1, and like Gone is like, I'll see you when I sleep. I've had a hell of a time since I've been away, whatever. We're kind of coming down. And it's like, we're going to get right back into the dirt at this point, in the trauma. And it starts on Castaway, and it even continues into the next song, Chemical Tribe. For those keeping score at home, this is the 14th song on the entire volumes 1 and 2.
14th inning.
Yeah, 14th inning. We might be playing the longest game in Major League history tonight, Ethan. Lyric here I want to point out: generation turned to Chemical Tribe, don't really care if we live or die. Generation turned a Chemical Tribe, been sold out, and it's no surprise. And very, very poignant coming from somebody of that generation, and certainly from the Pacific Northwest music scene where, they turned to Chemical Tribe. There's just drugs and alcohol abound and substance abuse everywhere and a lot of demons. And, that was the way that a lot of people ended up dealing with their demons at the time. And, that begets more demons. And, it's a song like Chemical Tribe, you know what you're going to be in for.
Yeah, this song, right? Like one of the lyrics, it's like no Last Supper, right? Bitch slapped before you reach the table. Born in ending times, leaning more toward Cain than Abel,
dude.
And that is heavy and deep, and like, just thinking, knowing that Lane's in a bad space when he's writing this, and there's been deaths in his friend group and
his
the people
family and everything,
his family, and like the writing is on the wall, and like this, it feels inescapable at times, and I just it's a tough situation to even try to put myself into, and he's living with it all the time.
I'll tell you, as a 12-year Catholic school veteran, I always love it when people kind of include some biblical allusions here, and that one's really great, kind of combining the Cain and Abel story with the Last Supper story, and like, certainly cutting the Last Supper short, like it doesn't even happen because I bitch slapped you before you got to the table, and then identifying more with the killer Cain than the killed Abel. Just to speak of the how his life has changed him and his choices have changed him. It's kind of funny because like you have that, and then you get into the next song, which is What It Takes. And this is stylistically, in terms of what he's saying here, and even musically, like it changes quite a bit here. It takes a mountain of faith, river flowing pain. It takes a hammer on a nail, a whole lot of love. A lifetime of working, a touch of understanding, a wind in the sails. It takes a sun burning knowledge, an ocean full of feeling. It takes a certain kind of hunger and a whole lot of love. It's almost like, he's kind of searching for the things that he's going to need to change his course.
Yeah, and again, the song, like the first, iteration, first volume, there's a lot of, sonically, there's a lot of like through lines and stuff, and already we're here like 3 songs in, and these
a little bit more variety.
A lot more variety, yeah. And this has like, it has like it's like an unsure sounding like, verse, and like the guitar picking. It's just a really interesting setup, and like I said, he sets a different mood for each song while staying in the same general space. And yeah, dude. Yeah. Guitar work, obviously, on it's like every song has a special riff in there.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And the crazy thing, like during these writing sessions, like this could be like the 20th best riff that he came up with, you know, but it's still better than, you know, most people's best riff. And that's just Jerry doing what Jerry does best. And, you know, it continues even into the next song, the 16th song on the big volume, which is Dying Inside. And we're all dying inside a little bit. I guess we're dying all the time. I love how like snarky the lyrics are in this one a little bit, and like I can't help but think of this one as like almost like the devil like tempting you into the big rock star life. You know, roll first class, limousine drool, packed house every night. Hey rock star, got a cold beer? Sure don't mind, do you? Ain't life sweet? Party nonstop, 24/7, cool. You know, kind of speaking of the things that have certainly tempted and successfully tempted him through a lot of his life, you know, all of the rock star allure. So proud would be your mother. Anything you want, pick your lover. From here looks so fine. My God, how your star shines. Dying inside. You know, like all those things, all the things that allure you are still going to end up killing you and probably kill you a lot faster. And, you know, he's coming to grips with that, I think, at this point.
Party nonstop 24/7. Cool. I mean, yeah, it's like you've running and gunning for years, and you know, it wears and tears, and just like everybody says, you know, the bright lights of Hollywood and being in the limelight gets old.
Yeah, and like there's some lyrics in this one too where it kind of like from the perspective of somebody that wants that life, live your dream, walk in those shoes, trade with you anytime, worldwide name, freedom, much fame, spinning gold song and rhyme. But then not too far after that, you know, the lyrics dying inside pop up. So it's like one of those, the classic cautionary tale of needing to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, and again, just zoom out a little bit, right? This is after his most historic or his most substantial, you know, part of his music career, in Alice in Chains.
Yeah, as far as anybody would know, that was over, and Jerry's kind of that's done. Jerry's has been at the apex of what he was going to do.
Yeah, and he, although like he still has the name and he's still like sought after. Remember, like Columbia didn't want to like help him here, and
yeah, and he's opening for bands that used to open for him.
It's like no matter how much success he had, or you know anybody has, when you go home at night and you go to bed, like you are left with you and your thoughts and your troubles. And this is like the constant battle where you're like, yeah, you're doing really well on the outside to everybody else, but you're dying inside. And like, you know, it may look really great, but you know, you would trade it for a normal set of circumstances.
Right.
But you know, he plays the cards he was dealt, and you know, he gives us an awesome riff in this one as well. Like, back to the guitar, you know.
He's got plenty of those.
He's got a riff. He's got a riff for every feeling.
He's got plenty of booze, babes, and riffs.
I mean, this is like, this song, again, super long, but once he gets to riffing at like 3.5 minutes, it's really high octave, and it is just, it is sick. I mean, and then, again, a lot of Melvin's drumming going on in the background.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Some punchy, really stoppy good drums. And yeah, I mean, it's just, but like I said, this is a 6.5 minute song. I mean, this is why it's a B, you know, not why it's a B-side, but like, this is a lot to take in. This is a lot of music, a lot of songs.
This project, I mean, the songs individually are a lot to take in, and the project as a whole is almost overwhelming at points.
Yeah, like
these big songs with big ideas and big sounds, complexity all over.
Yeah. So again, we are doing our best. If you're still listening, thank you for holding in. You know, this is the big ask, not only to listen to the album, but to also dissect it and try to follow along. So,
ask not what your podcast hosts can do for you.
Yeah.
Ask what you can do for your podcast hosts.
Don't ever say
join our Patreon.
We didn't do it for you guys. Yeah, exactly. Join our Patreon. Like, oh my gosh.
That's what it comes down to, because we're about to break down a song called Siddhartha, which is
we're almost in the 7th
song.
Inning stretch,
yeah,
Chris.
Dude, that's it. It's almost time to stretch and grab a beer from the concessions before they close it down for the night. Dude, I was, you know, Siddhartha.
Maybe go to the Coke Run to do some bathroom.
Exactly. I have to just sniff the keys a little bit, you know, see if they smell differently than 15 minutes ago when I sniffed them last.
I love just thinking, like, you know, for an hour and a half in here, the listeners are like, you know, they get to hear us getting, slap happy a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's
in the
also
trench. We're in the trenches,
yeah,
guys.
we're in the trenches. Yeah, we have a little shell shock. We got some battle fatigue going on, but the show goes on.
I'm dying inside.
Yeah. I like Siddhartha. I've lived both sides. And
Siddhartha.
For those uninformed, because I was uninformed, evidently, Ethan, Siddhartha was the birth name of Buddha, and as the mythology or religious history goes, Buddha was an individual who was born into extreme wealth, but he chose poverty and spirituality and enlightenment over that wealth. And I think it's an apt title for this one. Sentence served, you're free to be Siddhartha. Like him, he lived both sides. A brand new day, I'm looking for a change to come around. Siddhartha on my mind. So once again, like ping-ponging between these themes here, where it's like auditing the past, not being able to get out from the mistakes you've made, realizing there's a path forward, and actively wishing for that path forward, and living both sides here. That one's, once again, there's some pretty good riffs here.
Yeah. In comes Jerry to break it up with some riffs, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, dude, like a 6-minute song talking about the birth name of Buddha. Jerry did not shy away from.
He's a very well-read guy to be able to write about these things.
That too, yeah. He's very intelligent. Yeah, very intelligent. And obviously the lyrics and the comprehension and
explore specter rise, the dream that brought you low, kind of going back to dying inside, where it's like, you have that dream and it ended up putting you in a spot that maybe you're not too happy about. And at the end of the day, sometimes you look back on your choices and you think to yourself, it hurts, don't it?
Dude, this song, man,
the lone instrumental track.
This one came on as I was working.
So, favorite of yours. I think this was your song of the week last week.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it has it's like I guess it's like a layered guitar solo. It's probably just one, but with like enough reverb and echo. Yeah, that like it sounds like it's two guitars kind of like dueling and playing together over an acoustic guitar, and it just. The notes go long enough and they reach certain heights and depths that like it's like this soundscape that I just don't get a lot of times when I'm listening to songs of any genre. And like I said, one of my favorite parts of it is like just the pace, and it does not rush. He just goes through it, and I mean it's like 4.5 minutes long. Like usually stuff like this, these instrumentals are like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, because you don't get a lot of that. You don't get a lot of that in songs because they don't have the time, because they have to provide space for vocals. But like the guitar like, is the vocal track here.
Yeah. But this is side 2 of Jerry's Degradation Trip, and he's going to do
he's calling
this.
The shots.
Once again, a lot of great riffs in here. Like this whole song, like he is that. I mean, like if if you're talking to the Riff Lord and you want to cut out all the drums and the vocals and just hear like guitar work, I mean, this is a ton of fun.
Yeah, this is a really fun listen. And that's the best part of this project. Like you can listen to it and not even consider the lyrics, I mean, anytime an artist makes music, you take from it whatever you want and whatever you need. And sometimes it's the words and sometimes it's just the way it sounds. And it's certainly a easier on the brain listen when you're just listening to the music,
right.
As opposed to trying to, speed run all of your traumas from birth until the moment that you're sitting there. So
like I said, this is the one where, well, I didn't say it, but this is like the cigarette break in the middle of the night where you just put something on with a candle and look up at the ceiling and hear this guitar riff as you pull one down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a breath.
This is a great one. I want to spend some more time with Hurts, Don't It? There's just so many options on this record.
And just like, no lyrics. And he chooses Hurts, Don't It for the title.
Perfect.
And, it gives all the lyrics to the song that you need, right? You can make it up. You can hear it in the guitar, like what he's trying to say. And
he says it.
Yeah. like you said, every song I wrote, I meant what I said at the time. and
And he meant what he said on Hurts, Don't It?
he captured a fragment of time. So I'd like to spend some more time on that after the episode, but I'm probably gonna listen to it before I go to bed, I think.
Absolutely.
But moving on to She Was My Girl. This song
couple
is
a couple
go
things
ahead.
here, man. Just want to shout out
This is Nirvana. I'm just kidding.
the second song that I am aware uses the word copacetic. Naturally bound for the floor by your local H. Keeping it copacetic. That's the first word spoken in the lyrics here for "She Was My Girl." This song also uses the word "hoss," which is great. I think
Big time.
Definitely that word gets a lot of play in the outlaw country sphere, but. Jerry wants, he's an Oklahoma boy, so you got to put some hoss in there. And once again, just kind of hard driving here. I think on the volume 2, you have a lot of longer tracks where he's kind of breathing a little bit and letting the instruments kind of do their thing. And this is back to reminiscent of some of the stuff that we heard on the first side with like Pro False Idol or Spider Bite or even Hellbound, where it's a little bit more hard driving, up tempo.
Yeah, this one's like really punky, like pop punky too at times. Like I wasn't kidding. Like it does sound like something Nirvana would play, and I can just picture him like if he's writing this, and he's done all these heavy. I don't know where it came in the order of creation, but like he's probably like, I got to mix it up. I want to do something, whatever. And this is kind of his fun song to kind of fun riffy and.
Yeah, and something I think we can all relate to. She was my girl, used to be my world. I miss my girl. What a fine girl. We've all been there a time or two. Someplace where we may not have all been a time or two is the land of the Pig Charmer, which is the next track. It's the 20th, so we're closing in on the end of volumes 1 and 2 here. And Ethan, what do you think about Pig Charmer?
When you say it like that, I don't think I have
Welcome
much
to my
to
sty.
say.
Come on in and get high.
Yeah,
don't mind piss-filled bottles.
Dude, the thing I can think of is like the song "Three Little Pigs" by it was Maynard's first band or whatever he did.
Oh yes, I forget the name of the band. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and just like the use of pig, like maybe like three little pigs, but like. It's kind of a gluttonous animal and just kind of like, it's a symbol.
Dirty.
And they use it in like, I don't know, they use it to describe, I don't know, in like satirical stuff. Like it's just to symbolize stuff. And I don't know. I think Jerry's very intentional with this, and it's, I don't know. I haven't dove deep into the Pig Charmer besides, like, a listener to. But
these lyrics are just like dirty, filthy. I'm a pig charmer, lying filth getting off. I make my bed in a wallow, lackey fill my trough. Digging through garbage bubble, fried a pork rind. I pick and save all my scabs to serve up dinner time. I mean, that's jarring. Like that, you have like a visceral reaction to that. And
this is something Primus would like write up and
probably not something that Columbia Records would have wanted to put out, hence the move to Roadrunner, because there are no bullshit label.
Dude, what this is like way past halitosis, Mr. Yuckmouth I slay. It turns out he's the big pussy. Satan hoof had its way. 2 months, no shower, cigarette and methane fog. And if you ever needed it, I give mean horse hog.
Yeah, I think Jerry.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, there's really nothing else. Nothing else that we need to say for that one. This time, I hope I'm wrong, not right. So once again, just there's ping ponging back and forth between, succumbing to all of these like filthy desires and struggles and whatnot, and he's to use an appropriate term, he's wallowing in it right now.
Dude, he's calling a spade a spade.
Yeah, dude. Pig Charmer, not one of my top tracks from the entire project, but you can't tell the story without it. So
not yet.
Not yet, exactly. You never know. All right, Song number 21. I cannot believe this was not on the initial release, because
Yeah.
this is a hit. They made a music video for this song as well,
Yeah.
Anger Rising, and I think of it, and I feel like it's a cousin of Angel Eyes. I think it's very accessible, I think, to a listener. Once again, it's got a really, really good hook to it, similarly to what Angel Eyes presents to us. And, you have 30 seconds of kind of build up, and then Jerry hits that riff. And this is like classic Cantrell tone here, classic choruses.
Right.
Once again, right from the Cantrell manual.
Yeah, this is really surprising. It wasn't on the first side, or make it a 13, the 13th song or whatnot. And it's a well put together song. Like the breakdown where he's giving the oohs and ahs. Like, I mean, they're really important, right? It just bridges everything and bridges into more riffs and more solos, and
and going right back to the well of the trauma that he dealt with as a child. I mean, Alabama trailer park they call home, boy standing at attention in the corner his own, terrified scorpion crawling the wall. By the way, father, could you please beat me some more?
Yeah, jeez.
Mother crying, calling out up the stairs. By the way, father, do you even know that I'm scared? I mean, this is one of those things that hopefully nobody...
Anger rising, man.
Yeah, I mean, rising up inside him again. Tell me you've got a plan. Deaf and blind, I'm living with the lepers, and you want to hold my hand. Dude, he's an unbelievably clever songwriter.
Yeah, dude, he's so good. And you made a good point in the beginning. I mean, it's all very coherent, the way the songs are, thematically.
Yeah, he's got a style that he likes to write in.
Yeah, he does. And if you're listening to this, then obviously you agree with us that you like it. But it is a lot for some people. This is not how everyone likes to consume music.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But
sometimes you just have to send out an SOS.
Dude, save our ship, dude. I'm feeling that sometimes. Where do we go from here?
SOS.
SOS, man.
I think this one has to be an allusion to some stuff that he went through with Lane. Just thinking about some of the lyrics here. Sever all, no more ties, walk away from each other. I know you're my brother and I don't even know you. So I think right in the time period of 98, 99 with what was going on, and nobody had really heard much from Lane. Even the guys in Alice in Chains, they hadn't heard much from him, maybe not even seen him since the 96 shows that they did. And I think it comes up here again, as it did even on like Bargain Basement Howard Hughes way back on the top of the first volume here. But and once again, dude, there's some pretty good riffs in this one.
Guitar solo, dude. I mean, Jerry said it best at the end. He said, "Don't know what to say. Nothing new to tell you."
Yeah, dude. Reality and dream intermingle.
Downtime I create, enter self-destructor, aka enter guitar riff and solo. It's a good one. Right? I mean, like I said, all these songs, I mean, again, this is 5.5 minutes long. Like,
yeah.
I should have. Does Jerry talk about song by song ever? Like, I should have went and checked.
I haven't found like a wealth of song by song stuff. There's different songs that he's
If we do have Jerry on this podcast at some point, which is like, I think our ultimate goal.
It's not impossible.
I mean,
I think we've always said there's two guys we'd love to have, Matt Cameron and Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah. Yeah. And if Jerry comes on, I think we lean heavy into his solo work, and we just,
I think so too.
We don't ask him the easy,
be like the guy in the merch
questions.
line at the meet and greet in O2.
Exactly. Oh yeah. If we ever like secure that, I'll make sure to like quick overnight all of his vinyls I don't have. Like,
yeah, exactly. Put them up on the walls behind us and try to woo him a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll ask him about we'll ask him about the Pig Charmers and the SOSs of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's not the stuff that people ask, Jerry Cantrell
exactly.
about.
Well, and there's every song means something to the people that wrote it. So like, I mean, he said it best himself. Every song has its story.
So we're in the bottom of the ninth, Ethan. We have three more batters that we need to retire. And the first batter of the bottom of the ninth is going to be the song called Give It a Name. And this is really, I think, the first time in this entire project that you get a guitar riff to open that's pretty groovy. So much of it's been heavy and so much of it's been a little smooth and lingering, but this one's pretty damn groovy, and it's refreshing.
Got some Pearl Jam in there.
Yeah, dude, it's refreshing at this point in our listening experience. And similarly to that like one-liner adage that we had, you know, we all steal, that came back way earlier on the record. There's another one here that just sticks out like a sore thumb and is so easy to understand and take home with you. Slowly, all the roles we act out become our identity, and in the end, we are what we pretend to be. And I think that's unbelievably true.
Yeah,
that's a really good one.
Oh man, give it a name, right? Sorry, I spaced out when you were just saying that that lyric, but this song, you know, it's a nice break from, you know, I don't know, the whole album in a way. Like it has its small part that you said it's really groovy.
Yeah,
and,
this one breaks the formula in the same way that I think Gone did and Solitude did.
I mean, this whole volume 2 is filled with it. I mean, he got really experimental, and I'd like to know the process if he got through like the first 12 and was like, this is side A, and now I'm gonna get weird.
I'm always fascinated like the order in which these were written.
Yeah, and maybe maybe they were written in a random order, and he just placed them in this order because it made the most sense. Or
right,
you know, that could be Roadrunner coming in and be like, all right, like let's see what you got. Like, can we at least make this coherent, or you know, put your fun stuff in your, you know, on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they put Anger Rising on this, and I don't really understand that.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily understand that choice. I mean,
an album about choices, that was, you know, yet another choice that was made. So it's the way it goes.
Thanks
sometimes.
anyway, right?
Thanks anyway, and that's the penultimate song on Degradation Trip Volumes 1 and 2. Kind of breaks the mold a little bit in the beginning too with that guitar intro a little bit.
Come low, get down low.
It's definitely not. Yeah, it's not a sound that you really hear too often in the preceding 23 songs here, but I'm glad it's here. This one definitely starts slow, which is good, and then similarly to a lot of these songs, we got the slow start and then it opens up again and everything comes in, and he turns that, you know, the volume up on that guitar way up high. And there's a little bit of fade out, you know, kind of between verse and chorus, and after chorus into the next verse. And it's just really, really solid songwriting here.
Yeah. And looking at the chorus, you know, this is a pretty poignant song. The chorus is, how could you know for me what's right? Can't live for me. Oh, and you can't die, right? Thanks for trying. And, you know, torn today, sweaty pillow, and like sweat, you know, the night sweats, you know, this is obviously talking about, you know, thanks for the help, but like, you know, this is me and I have to get through it. I mean, you know, it's like,
yeah,
you know,
it's
you
up
can only
to you
give
and you
so
alone.
much. Yeah. You can only give so much advice for, you know, certain situations. And, you know, it's like, well, were you there? Did you live it? Are you me? Do you have my problems and stuff? And
right,
I think like when you're battling and people are always reaching out, you know, a hand, whether it be genuine or not. I mean, it gets old, it gets this and that. And I think, you know, Jerry is, you know, we can't speak for him, you know, if you're listening out there, you know, Jerry, we you know, we know none of this for certain, but, it's just speculation, but, you know, great, you know, just, all these lyrics are in between, you know, heavy riffs and rock and roll, and like, you know, there's some people that don't. I mean, lyrics are not their thing to get into it. So sonically, you just appreciate everything he does for us on all these songs. And
100%.
This one's very unique. This one has a lot of different, you know, stops and starts to it that, you know, it's great.
It's good to have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ethan, we've reached the end here. The final song on Degradation Trip Volumes 1 and 2.
And just
I think this is the song that I have the longest history with out of any of them.
Oh, really?
Which is strange. Yeah, I got turned on to this song probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
That's awesome.
When I was going through a not particularly great period of time in my life. And
longest track of the album.
Yeah, 723. Yeah, it just beats out Pro False Idol, which checked in at 717. So, we end on a nice long slow ballad, and this really
This is a
really
tough
puts
one.
yeah, it's such a tough song to listen to when you think about the pain that's behind the presentation of this song and what they're talking about. And this is the final exclamation point on that theme of everything that you wagered and where you got to might not be where you're comfortable with or where you want to be. And it doesn't get any more explicit than this. You were voted most likely to have your name go up in lights. Only took a few years to see that through. Now you're most likely to end up dead alone in a hotel room, 31 or 32, meaning 31 or 32 years old. Not an old man by any sense of the word. And yeah, dude, this one, yeah, I remember I was in like 2020, I went through a pretty rough time in my life. And, there was a certain career path that I was working towards and decided that it wasn't what I wanted to do. And, I was dealing with a lot of shit in my life. And I remember listening to this song at the time and just thinking about the fact that, it sucks to make a decision and to strive for something. And you think that that's going to work and you think that that's going to fix everything and give you the feelings that you need. And it doesn't. And you have a choice to make at that point. And I think this song is, before any choices about what the future is going to be. And you're just kind of sitting there thinking about where you're at and how you got there. And ultimately, you're the one who gets you there. And sometimes you just have to sit with it. And yeah, I listened to the song a lot back then. And there was a period of time afterwards where I couldn't really listen to it too much. But I'm at a point now where I can appreciate this unbelievably great song. I think it's one of the best from this entire project. And one that I don't think he's ever played live. And
Wow.
he's spoken about the fact that a lot of these songs are tough for him to revisit, and he doesn't spend a lot of time with them, either listening and certainly playing. But this is one that I would love to hear a live performance of this one at some point, if it's ever in the cards.
Yeah, and just kind of opposite of last song of what I just said, where people don't listen for lyrics, or it's hard to kind of
Well,
like
this one's
when it's
easy to
so
listen
heavy.
to with the lyrics
That's what I
because
mean.
it's
So
so
this one is
subdued,
this
kind
one
of
is the
country.
opposite. This is like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's country. It's very
it's like
outlaw
Gone,
country, and yeah, and it had the lyrics are is very clear. There is no reverb. It's just him singing, and it's almost like open mic in a bar. And
Yeah,
you said,
exactly.
yeah, the boy hesitates, lost his way. The boy hesitates, first and last mistakes. He's now trying to,
Hmm.
when you're talking about, making choices and wondering if you made the right choice. And
Yeah. And I think I mentioned this on the episode that we did last week, but perhaps my favorite lyrics from this entire project. Wanted to, now you're a star, you make a living milking scars.
Mhm.
And, similarly to some of these other songs where it's like, be careful what you go after and be careful what you wish for. And, if you're wishing for it for yourself, you know, you got to heed the experience of other people and realize that things aren't often as they appear, and making a living milking scars are only going to create more scars. And I think
Mhm.
there's a lesson in there for that one. And yeah, dude, this is just a great song. And I love anytime a song does this where the last verse is just a repeat of the first verse. It kind of brings it full circle. There's not really a resolution to the things that he's dealing with in this song.
Right.
But the final words are just a repeat of that first verse, where you're voted most likely to have your name go up in lights, and now you're most likely to end up dead and alone in a hotel room, 31 or 32.
Yeah.
It's just a good bookend to this song, and it's a really good bookend to this project. And especially, we spent a lot of time talking about music that's over 20 years old, and we have the ability to see where things have gone from this point forward. And a lot of times
Yeah.
you listen to music from artists who might be on the edge and they might meet their demise, thinking of Lane and Kurt and Andy Wood and all those guys. But this one, it makes me really happy to know that this project happened. He made these songs, he lived these songs, and he's still here. He's still making music, and
Yeah.
he's seemingly better than ever, which is something I'm really grateful for.
Yeah. Seemingly made it out the other side, and hopefully, this is a big step, confronting, right?
Yeah.
Confronting and
knowing that
moving
the work
on,
never stops too.
knowing that the work never stops. Yeah. And I think I would imagine having songs like this to look back on, and like I said, see a specific time and thoughts. And I hope that is comforting. And This song really is a beautiful, beautiful song, and it's so nice to end this album. I mean, this is a bear, right? This is a
Yeah.
massive degradation trip, and it really feels fitting to end with something, like this, because he said his country roots, and we get a lot of that in the Brighton albums and some of the later stuff, like some of the country influence, and you get obviously you get in the EPs and some Jar of Flies and different things that we love. I mean, love that's guitar work and musical setup, and this one is it's a good song to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Ethan, there's no better way to end our 2-week investigation into Degradation Trip. I think we should end it the same way we began. In the words of Jerry Cantrell, Degradation Trip is an apt title. There's nothing better to describe the songs and experience than that phrase. I think you got to be a little bit crazy to do this. And the guys who are usually really crazy are usually the better ones. It's a fine line to walk. And for 25 songs, Jerry Cantrell walked that line, and he lived to tell about it. And we get to enjoy these songs and apply them in the ways that we need to, and take from them what we need when we need it. And that's the greatest gift that an artist can give us.
Damn, that's perfect, man. Really is perfect, dude. Ah, man, you can just hear him saying, getting into these going in for writing sessions for month at a time, and just coming out and like, damn, that was wild.
Yeah.
I have this to show for it.
Yeah. Scary, man. It's like looking at the sun.
Yeah. Shit, dude. That's Degradation Trip, man.
Volumes 1 and 2.
That is our best interpretation of every song that we had on there. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because it was very enjoyable, and I think we did the best we can. We did well, Chris. Good job.
That's all you can do. If there's something Jerry taught us, you got to put your head down and do the best you can. And I think
you should have the man we can be.
Exactly.
God, I love Jerry.
I fucking love Jerry Cantrell, man. What a guy.
He's absolutely, and if you didn't like our synopsis of all the songs, go back to the first episode. We give a lot of quotes by Jerry about the songs, and
don't take it from us, take it from him.
Yeah, and as we said, like Jerry is not only is his lyrics so quotable, but like, I mean, his interviews are just like full of beautiful descriptions of all the songs and what he was thinking while he was writing them. So,
oh yeah,
they're out there.
They are out there. Well, we would like to thank you for going on this journey with us. We would like to thank our producer, Drew McFadden, for also going on this journey with us. This has been a long, strange trip, and I look forward to
3 strange days, Chris.
3 strange days turned into 5 years on the Grunge Bible podcast, and looking forward to commemorating 5 years of the GB pod next week with episode number 260.
I mean, just imagine. So this project for Jerry started in 98 and didn't end until 2002. So he was in this shit for 4 years.
And we got 5.
Yeah. So, well, that too. Yeah, we have 5. I'm just saying, like, just talking about that album, like what type of...
It's a long time to inhabit that.
Yeah, that's like what type of trauma we just experienced going through it. Or like,
we just spent like an hour and a half doing it.
We took a week and a half, 2 weeks, and this dude, this is 4 years of his life where...
It's crazy, man.
So, and mortgaging his house, doing everything to get it. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta have skin in the game, brother.
That's right, dude. So, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Eric Lederman.
Thank you, Eric Lederman.
Oh man. Cheers. Songs of the week. I'm going to default to the entire album here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
31, 32. If you didn't pick that last week, you picked
I did not. No, let's pick it. Well, a joint song of the week.
I'll pick 31. You pick 32.
Exactly. And you get to decide which one you're feeling more identifying.
Not 42 and 2, but.
No. It's 26, 7, and 4. 46 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Well, Psychotic Break just came back on after 31, 32 ended, and I gotta put an end to this. I can't start this up again. So let's leave it here.
The song that came on for me is All Night Thing by Temple, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow in your footsteps and close down shop to some All Night Thing.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Ethan.
My
and
pleasure.
roll.
Rock and roll.
Panzer.